All right, I'm here today with Kevin Taylor from Kentucky Grapplers in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I'm up here for a seminar with Professor Jack Offman, learning the real sea life. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you taking your time. I appreciate you having me up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, man, how you got started in the martial arts?
I got started when I was a kid. I started when I was 10 years old. Started with Goju Shori Karate with Ken Eubanks, who was a national promoter.
Right, very famous.
And so I grew up with him, traveled the national circuit. I was nationally rated by the time I was 13. Got moved into adult division when I was 14 years old, was nationally rated. When I was 15, I was the top heavyweight brown belt fighter in the country, number 2 in weapons and forms. And so I was trying to improve my weapons and forms and signed up for the California Martial Arts Academy camp in St. Louis.
Okay.
George Chung and Cynthia Rothrock were supposed to be teaching the forms class. I was going to train with them. They got a movie contract in Hong Kong, so they canceled. And I was fortunate enough to train instead of them with Guru Dan and Asanto. And that was my introduction to Jeet Kune Do, Kali, and Muay Thai. So soon after that camp, I moved to England for 2 years as a foreign exchange student. There I started training with Master Toddy in Thai boxing. I'd sent a letter to Guru Dan's assistant at the time, Cass Magda, saying, "Help, I'm in England, where should I train?" He sent me to Sifu Nino Bernardo. I'm still in contact with Nino today. He was just here teaching at my school in December.
Filipino martial arts.
And Wing Chun Kung Fu.
Okay.
Nino was an instructor under Guru Dan in Filipino martial arts.
Okay.
But he was also a Wing Chun instructor. He trained in Hong Kong, did the entire Wing Chun system under Wan Shanlong, who was Yip Man's 4th disciple.
Right, absolutely.
Was also the one who was responsible for most of Bruce Lee's personal training.
The
in
fighter
Wing
of the
Chun.
Wing Chun group.
Yes, definitely. And so then Nino, because I'd done more Kali than most of his guys, on Wednesday nights started sending me to Covent Garden to train with Professor Jack. At the time it was Guru Jack. So I started, he was my first Sea-Lock instructor in '86.
So you were recommended by him to visit Professor Jack?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And then in '87, I met Larry Hartzell. Nino promoted a seminar for him in London. I trained with him and met Rick Fay at the same time.
Okay,
at the
two very
basement.
famous JKD guys.
Yeah, so I met both of them at the basement and then the public seminar following that. That year I came back to the United States and went to the North Carolina camp. The following year, I went to seminars with Paul Vunak, Larry Hartzell. '88, I went to the Michigan camp where Nino was teaching Wing Chun as well as Bendikar Paul Vitoirs. Salim Asli was there teaching Savant, Guru Dan, Bendikar Paul Vitoirs, Sifu Larry. Worked with them in Michigan, then I was at the North Carolina camp again.
Okay.
That summer I went to the Junfan Jeet Kune Do apprentice instructor training class in Dallas, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth, and assisted both Sifu Larry and Sifu Tim Tackett at that camp.
Okay.
Also in '88, I was at Tuhan Leo Gahi's camp in Nashville, Tennessee. I started traveling down to Nashville and worked with Tuhan while he was living in Nashville. Then I ended up dropping out of school and went to see Sifu Larry St. Patrick's Day weekend in Chicago, which is kind of crazy there. That's where I got to meet Brandon Lee because he came to visit Sifu Larry at the seminar, and Sifu Larry was Brandon's godfather.
Now, is that when he was working on Rapid Fire?
No, that might have been, but he was there just visiting for the holiday. At the time, Sensei Eric Paulson was on a motorcycle in Los Angeles and somebody opened a car door into his knee, and so he wasn't able to go to Australia with Sifu Larry. Larry asked if I would go with him, and then I traveled with Sifu Larry for the next 5 years. England, Scotland, Germany, Finland, Australia, New Zealand, all of the United States and Canada. Seafood Paul Vunak had been in Norfolk training the SEAL teams for several years and had just moved back to California. And he talked a lot about Seafood Larry while he was there. So the SEAL teams had contacted Larry about coming to teach, and he took me as his assistant. So we were training the SEAL teams between Desert Shield and Desert Storm. And I continued to travel with him through the early 90s, at which point I went back to college, finished a degree, worked in professional theater for years. September the 11th, Children's Theater was not making a lot of money, so I went to massage therapy school. I taught massage therapy for the last 10 years, and recently just sort of moved home to be closer to family.
Back to Kentucky.
Back to Kentucky, back to home. My school, Kentucky Grapplers, is on 2nd Street here in Bowling Green, and across the parking lot is the State Street Boxing Gym where I used to box. I was the president of the Western Boxing Club and the captain of the boxing team. Their trainer was Andrew Gardner, Fat Man. He was the trainer of Darren Van Horn amongst several other world champions. We were fortunate enough to have him here for a while. And then also from my front door, I can see where Olympic Karate Studio at Kid Eubank School used to be. And so I grew up in this area doing martial arts, had much more of a reputation here than I did in Louisville, and being close to family. Just seemed time to come out of the garage and actually start teaching.
And so now you've got Professor Jack Hoffman coming to your school, and you're going to be the representative of the Silat, the Haramau Barentai in this area. So, Professor Hoffman's been to your school how many times now?
This is 3.
3, and you trained with him personally in the UK. And so you're certified, and you'll be bringing him in, and you'll be able to certify other people, and you are the representative in this area for it.
That's correct.
Very
Yes,
good.
we're going to be spreading the word. One of the things that's different is most of the Silat that's been introduced to the United States is empty hand, and there's some very good empty hand Silat out there. We're kind of bridging the gap a little bit. Weapons have not really been taught, and so Professor Jack's mission is to help bridge that gap and fill in that missing link so we can supplement other people's programs. We're not looking to replace anybody else's work, but this is a new syllabus in people's curriculum.
Well, I saw some stuff today that I've never seen before, never even heard of before, and was told, by Professor Jack through the history that probably only within a small group of families that this martial knowledge was even known. And now, all of a sudden, it's being opened up, and of all places, being brought to the United States and in Kentucky. So we're really proud to have him, really proud to have you, and I'm very thankful to be a part of it, and that you've invited me up, and I've got to come to the seminar and be able to train under you, man. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time for this interview. And if you're looking for real Silat in the United States, especially in the western mid-east coast, or this not east coast, you're talking Midwest area, this is the place to get it. Bowling Green, Kentucky is the only place so far in this area to get this real world family style Silat.
Check us out at KentuckyGrapplers.com, and you can find us at Kentucky Grapplers on Facebook.
Thank you guys.
Good one.
Thank you, man.